Tommy, are you ready?
Right.
We'll call the August 1, 2022 meeting of Greenwood Board of Public Works and Safety to order at 5:30 PM. Roll call, please, Tom.
Mr. Hooper,
Here.
Mr. Rutherford,
Here.
Mr. Coleman,
Here.
Minutes of the regular session of July 18, 2022, from the city members of the board. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. First on our agenda is 1394 Garden Terrace Avenue. I think Marvin is here with us. Are you here, Ms. Coward?
Yes, we are here.
Okay, tell us what you'd like to do.
We wanted to put the fence on the backyard, so we have to give that permission because of the utilities and stuff, so we get the permission actually.
We've got a memo in front of us from Jeff Weaver, and it has four recommended conditions outlined. Did you happen to see a copy of that motion?
Yes, I have it.
Do you have any problems with any of those conditions?
No,
Okay. Any questions for her or for staff?
no, I think we good.
Okay, good.
I'd move for approval with those conditions. I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Have a good evening. That was pretty easy.
All right. All right.
Next on our agenda is Mark Paris for Robert and Vicky Spicuzza. Mr. Paris, are you with us? 250 Darrow Drive.
They were doing this condition.
See anybody there, son? Mark, maybe you can help us through this.
Sure, yeah, this is another fence request located at 250 Darrow Drive. It's also known as Lot 38B, located in the reserve at Rock Lane Ridge, Section 2. They're requesting to install 4-foot aluminum fence in their backyard. The fence will encroach into a platted 20-foot drainage and utility easement in the west property line. There are no existing storm sewers in that property or in that easement. The plat and the aerial are attached for your review. They have notified all required utility companies. Community Development Services has not yet seen an approval letter from their homeowners association. So we recommend the approval of the encroachment request subject to the following four conditions. The one that is maybe unique that we don't see every Monday night is that we receive the signed approval letter from their HOA. That's the only one that maybe is different than what we normally see.
Any questions for Mark?
I move that we approve subject to those four conditions. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Bill Bender, 253 McRae Way. Mr. Bender, are you with us? Mark, can we put you on the spot again?
Yep, sure. This is another fence encroachment request for 253 McRae Way, also known as Lot 42A in the reserves at Rock Lane Ridge, Section 3. They're looking to construct a fence in their backyard that will encroach into a 20-foot drainage and utility easement. There are no existing storm sewer lines within that drainage and utility easement. The plat and the aerial have been attached for your review. Similar to the last one we heard, they have notified all required utility companies, but CDS has not yet seen an approval letter from their HOA. So that's, again, one of the conditions.
Any questions for Mark? Hearing none, I'll move for approval subject to those four conditions.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next on our agenda is Brenda Jones, 2588 Sunvold Trail. Please come forward. We're glad to have you here in person. That's
Just
fine.
there's fine.
Fine.
Here, okay.
Now, I'll just ask a simple question. What do you want to do here?
I'm building a fence and a shed.
And a shed, okay. There's been a memo given to us from our engineering division with 5 conditions. Have you seen that memo?
I have,
If you have any problems or any questions about any of those recommended conditions?
No.
Any questions for Ms. Jones or staff?
Mr. Hoover,
Yes.
just one item I'd like to add here is the shed, when it encroaches into the rear, based on our setbacks, it has to be 8 foot from the property line, rear side yard. It's not clear from the picture that it will be. It's likely that it may be, and that can be sorted out when they obtain the building permit. I just want that reflected. in
I
the-
did submit the building permit today and I have a copy of it with me.
And so the permit would have caught that.
Yeah, it should show how far off the property line.
So it's 8 foot off the property line edge of your shed. Okay,
Do you need to see this?
if you understand that it's 8 foot off the property line.
I
that's
understand that will happen.
Okay, thank you.
If this don't say that, I'll make it happen.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
What do we-
Wait,
we have a motion?
I thought we-
I'll move for approval
Thank
of
you.
those conditions.
Yeah, I'll second.
Thank you. Further discussion after that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Jones.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good rest of your afternoon and evening.
You too.
Next is Frank and Melinda Baker.
Hello.
Put on a place. Okay, you're here with us?
Yes,
You have a fence encroachment request as well, is that correct?
that is correct.
We have a memo in front of us that lists 3 potential recommended conditions to approval of your request. Have you seen that memo?
We have.
Do you have any problem with any of those conditions?
No, we don't.
No problem.
Questions from the board or for staff?
Are they in Florida? Because they've got a nice view behind.
You in Florida?
Are we in Florida?
We're jealous of your
Yeah, we're-
There's palm trees behind you.
video.
That's Cancun.
We're calling in from our summer place.
All right. I would move that we approve subject to those 3 conditions.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Enjoy your evening.
Thank you. You too.
Next, Thomas Button for MI Homes, Greenwood Station, Section 4.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm
Skip
sorry,
to
Chief, how could I do
No,
that?
you're at.
I'm Mike Wiggins. I'm with City Life Church. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mike,
Yes, sir.
good. Tell us what you want to do.
So last year we had our first Cars for Kids event that benefits Kick It, and we're adding an organization called Resources of Hope this year that helps foster kids and parents. 100% of the proceeds go to these 2 organizations. Last year, our first inaugural year, we had a better showing than we thought. The problem was we couldn't control the traffic, and regular cars were driving in around these show cars and hot rods, and it was luckily nothing happened. But we know we've got a lot more interest in the show this year. We know we're going to have a lot more cars, and so we're just requesting that Airport Parkway be shut down there at Main Street from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. so we can keep that traffic down.
And what day is this?
It's August 13th, Saturday.
Saturday?
Yes, sir. And we have Detective Courtney Borello, who is going to work the security for us as a uniformed officer.
One of my concerns about this is that this is kind of in the middle of the business day. We've got a couple large businesses, at least one large business, Open Barrel back there.
Mhm.
They're going to have access to, their customers have access to their.
Sure. So Quan is actually on board with this. He's actually one of our sponsors. And so if you can see there at the back where that block on the north side of Airport Parkway is, that is another entrance to Oaken Barrel. So it's hard to see now but from the edge of that building across, we leave about 50 spaces for Quan there. And he's fine with that because per his words, a middle of a Saturday in August, it's not really busy for them. So they don't open until 11 a.m. And so it would only be for a couple hours there. And the rest of the businesses in there are on board with us. Most of them aren't even open on Saturdays, but the ones that are go to our church actually. And what we're requesting is just a barricade that we can control the traffic there from Main Street. So if an emergency vehicle needs to get down, that barricade can be easily removed.
And so people will enter to the east entrance, or how will your?
So we can actually, people can come in through, they could actually come in on Airport Parkway. We just don't want them to be able to come into that parking lot. So they would then funnel and park in some of the other parking lots. And we've spoken with that landlord, and he's okay with that because nothing happens there on Saturdays. Or they can go in that one drive further east as spectators. Yeah, I don't know what that road's called right there, but yes, where the arrow's at, they could go in that way as well.
If you got the owners of the other businesses involved and on board with this, what questions?
Yes, sir.
The rest of the members board have for this.
If you're allowing people to pull in anyway, why do you need to close that road? Why wouldn't you just close the parking lot entrance?
Well, that's where we're going to have our table set up right there on that side entrance there, and we just didn't want a lot of through traffic going. So it'll actually, it's hard to see from here, but there's turn lanes that go in and out of there, and we were going to try to set our booth up for registration right there. And on we do have overflow that if this is bigger than we're anticipating, where they could park in that turn lane as well. Out there on Airport Parkway in one of those, I guess it would be the south end there, if that makes sense. But again, that's just for overflow. So we're just trying to be over prepared more than anything.
But certainly once your tables, I guess your registration tables or whatever you've got there on Airport Parkway, set fairly far back north off of Main Street.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll make it work if you guys, don't think that it's, feasible to do. We're just requesting it just to kind of control the traffic a little better.
Molly, anything else additional?
I'm not 100% sure. I just found out about this afternoon, so we're still working through some of the details, but it sounds like they've got everyone on board. They talked to the people who own the buildings to the east. I'm not sure if
Okay.
there are.
Mr. McLaughlin, your thoughts? I know you've always got some.
Chairman Wilson, Deputy Mayor. I guess a couple of things is number one, how, if there's nothing up other than if somebody comes into Greenwood and they want to go on their Parkway, they're not going to know where to turn until they're right there. So that's going to create some sort of traffic will be busy there anyway for the people going to be in the car show.
Sure.
It's far away from the Main Street intersection. Would be my first nod.
Okay.
Or I'm kind of curious of why they wouldn't have, were they coming off this other road? It's Cordia Drive. Maybe make that as a staging area for cars going in to do their check-in along that road.
Sure.
And another thing, if the property to the east actually doesn't have anything in there, the ideal thing would be to have the actual show in that parking lot and then maybe be able to adjust it if that lot would become full. I don't know how many cars get in there looking at this photo.
Yeah, we did ask for that. They won't allow us to be on that, something with their insurance because we're not a tenant. So that actually is not an option for us to hold the car show over there. But in the parking lot that we're, in with Oaken Barrel, that's where our church is at. So we own the majority of the spaces in that lot anyways, per our lease, because we have the largest space in there. Which is why it makes sense for us to do it over there. That's why we're just trying to control that area right there.
I'd be real concerned about the Main Street and Airport Parkway. And again, I think there probably will be some sort of signage. If somebody's coming in, tell them that they need to go in off or whatever that, I think that's probably a private road, right, chief?
That whole coming off Main Street is.
Yeah, that private road, again, we can't do a detour on the private road.
So do you think if we maybe pulled it back, I heard you say maybe pull it back further north to where maybe it's kind of at the entrance of our parking lot to where it almost could be like if they pulled in there, they could just turn right on that Accordia Drive.
Yes, that would give you a lot more stacking space.
That makes sense.
Because
Okay.
coming in to get checked in, if there's a check-in procedure that you're gonna have, it sounds like you are gonna have, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Maybe some signage placement where to,
Well, I think if they pull back further, I don't know,
may not have a problem.
it would open up that to some degree.
Yeah. Sure.
But
Yeah. I mean, that's fine with us. That's not a problem at all.
Mr. Wigan, if you don't mind, why don't you coordinate with Molly Lau of the city? To
Sure.
just make certain all the notices and things are taken care of.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm making an assumption that the board's going to approve this request, subject to you getting it cleared with Molly, and if she has concerns, she can confer with the deputy mayor, who I think we would delegate any alterations to this plan to him. Sorry, Terry. Is there a motion for approval subject to those conditions I just talked about?
So, second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, fellas, men and women. I appreciate it.
Chief, good evening.
Good afternoon. Tonight, I come before you to request approval for a hospital affiliation contract with Franciscan Health. It's a contract that provides for continuing education and medical direction, which we require to remain an advanced life support provider in the city. We have the ability to utilize the Franciscan Education Center on Emerson Avenue for much of our advanced life support continuing education, as well as partnering with them for potential write-outs for some of their students that they have in their EMT paramedic programs. I would request approval of this contract with the signatory authority given to the mayor.
Any questions for the chief? Got an opportunity to review the contract?
I would move for approval for the mayor to sign.
Second that.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief. Next, Thomas Munn, MI Homes.
Yeah, I'm here.
With
Hey,
us.
guys.
Good evening. First on our agenda is Greenwood Station, Section 4. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I just like to request the acknowledgement of completion and release of maintenance guaranteed. Section 4.
Anything other than what's put on your memo, Mark?
I move we approve, subject to the minimum condition.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Let's move to Section 5 then. Thomas? Same type of.
Same deal. Acknowledge of completion, release of maintenance guarantees.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And we skip 6, but we're going to do Section 7.
Absolutely. Same thing. Acknowledge completion improvements, release of maintenance guarantees.
I'll move for approval. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Motion passed. Okay. Next, Thomas, have a good evening.
Hey, you too. Thanks. I appreciate it so much.
Sean Cofer, Canal Properties, Worsville Commerce section.
Yep, I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening. What are we
So
doing
this
here
is,
tonight?
yeah, this is a pretty simple one. When we were releasing some previous bonds for Worksville Commerce Center, we missed one that was our monuments, survey monuments around the site. And so we got those looked at, made sure they were okay, and then have put in the maintenance guarantee. So we're just looking for acceptance of the improvements and maintenance guarantee, and then release of the performance guarantee.
Mark, anything out of the ordinary here? No. I'll move for approval. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Mr. Riddle, Scottsdale.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Good. Tell us what we're doing.
Well, we're trying to build you guys some more homes, Scottsdale Estates Section 1, and we are here to for you guys to accept a performance bond for erosion control, accept and execute the inspection and testing agreements for general and sanitary, and accept and execute dedication of some public right-of-way.
Seems like the only condition to approval is one is public right-of-way documents that needs to be complete, correct?
Yes, and I had just received that about an hour ago and forwarded it to Paul this evening, so I knew that was going to be a condition on a small piece of the right-of-way.
Everything okay from your point of view?
Yep. I move approval, subject to that condition.
Second, further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next is Ryan Nicholson, Pepper Construction of Indiana, Worsville Commerce Center.
Yep, that's Ryan here.
Tell us what the issue is here, Ryan.
We're doing building 3 at Worsville Commerce Center. Asking permission to pour concrete in the early hours in the week of August 15th, and then we'll be doing slab pours in October. Our buildings share on the other side of Allen Road is housing addition. So just talking with the Greenwood inspector guys, they said I should go through the process and ask for permission here.
Mark? Fill us in here. What are the details here?
So my staff did not prepare much in regards to this. We assumed that Mr. Nicholson will be presenting as he is tonight. This is a fairly but out in a rural area or an industrial area. I think there are some single-family homes around there, but not many. It's my understanding this has been approved for similar properties in this Worsville Commerce Center in the past.
What hours are you going to be pouring?
It's starting at 2 a.m.
And how long will it go? How long will it work all day?
Yeah, 2 a.m. till probably 5 or 6 p.m. on finishing.
You say you're starting that on August 15th. How many days will that take?
Just the week of the 15th, and then when we do our slab pours, that'd be the middle of October to the end of October. The week of the August. What's that?
You can get concrete at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, coordinating it with IMI.
That's impressive.
What's the good thoughts? Deputy Mayor, you have any issues with that? No.
I don't have a problem with it since it's not in a real residential area. It's not early, but it is just for a week. So. And then flat pour. So I would move we approve the request. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Yes, thank you.
Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, let's go down to, we're gonna skip ahead. To the Todd Pointer, Agreement Bible Baptist Church, the Holly Springs, section 2. Pointer, are you with us? Mr. Pointer? Mark, would you help us out?
Yeah, so this is two lots in Holly Springs Section 2 located off the Sheep Road just south of Stop 18. What we have before you tonight is performance guarantees for erosion control and for sidewalk asphalt pathway and a general inspection and testing agreement, 50% of the upfront fee, as well as the final plat for Holly Springs Section 2. And it is staff's recommendation that you accept performance guarantees, ratify the inspection and testing agreements, and accept and execute the final plat for Holly Springs.
Further questions from Marsh? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Let the record show I'm leaving.
Next is turn to Greg Minter at Leonard Homes for Holly Springs Section 1. Well, no, I'm sorry.
Hello. So we're here for the acceptance performance bond for the erosion control and acceptance and execution of inspection testing agreements for Holly Springs 1. Mark, by the way, thanks for taking the call. I'm just trying to understand the process too, and so is everyone, so. Hopefully you didn't take the wrong.
No,
So,
yeah.
okay.
We appreciate Mark doing what he does.
Yeah, so do we.
Thank you for saying that. Mark, anything out of the ordinary here?
No, sir.
Well, I'll move that we approve the request for Holly Springs Section 1. Subject to ratified acceptance of the 50% upfront inspection and testing.
Second.
Further discussions? Now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And then, Mark, with this, does that allow us LAP so we can start earthwork?
I believe you still need the sanitary sewer agreement.
The special sanitary sewer
Finalized.
agreement.
Yeah, which is being reviewed by my staff and sanitation. It's been prepared by city.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone from the audience wish to address us, either in person or online?
Yes, I would.
Okay, who do we have?
You have Ron Pitcock. I'm the HOA president for Honey Creek Meadows.
Okay. What's on your mind tonight, Rob?
I'd like to come before, first I'd like to say thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'd like to put a proposal before the board. I've talked to a couple people in the city of Greenwood, and they told me to bring this to you with the recent tragedy that happened with the children drowning in a retention pond on April Drive on June 15th. I would like to seek maybe some type of a proposal before the board to help communities in the Greenwood area to prevent this from happening again, on trying to get the life ring saving rings for the retention ponds for the communities in Greenwood that don't have them. I know the cost right now, there's a few communities now have installed those. I don't know if there's a new ordinance or whatever, but the average ring with the stand and everything's around $500. And what I'd like to put before the board is if there's some way that we can get, say, a large quantity order where we can get them at a discount and be able to provide these to the communities that would like to put those in at a discount price with the help of the city, so we can protect our children around these retention ponds, because the majority of our communities have at least 2 or 3 retention ponds in each community. And I think you know, it's part of our responsibility to keep the erosion and everything down, but I think we also have a safety issue here where we could try to help prevent this from happening again, and maybe if the city of Greenwood could help us out in buying through a distributor or, you know, large quantities where homeowners associations can be able to afford them and put them at their retention ponds who don't have them.
Certainly appreciate your thoughts and comments, and that's always trying to make it more safe for our community residents. I'm not entirely familiar with what you're proposing there, Rob, but I'm trying to think who might be an appropriate person in the city or somebody else to direct you to further investigate and discuss that issue.
I think a program like this might be best organized. I have to volunteer Mr. Jones, but might be best organized for stormwater department with retention ponds. Might be able to speak better to when we require these flotation devices at retention ponds. I do know our standards require a safety ledge to be constructed with ponds 6 inches to 18 inches around the perimeter of the pond. So our current standards do have a fair amount of safety standards, which
Correct. And the stormwater technical manual does require that on new construction subdivisions.
the believes the life saving.
Correct.
Do you have a spec then that you, because it looked like they all put pretty much the same type of device out.
Yeah, and they found it from a local supplier. I think it was the sign shop. But yeah, we don't have a specific.
All right, man. Well,
Robin,
thanks
thank
for,
you.
were you actually there?
I've talked to him.
Okay.
And I told him.
Okay, cool.
You should probably.
Thanks for handling that, man.
They have.
Talk to you later. See ya. Bye.
Rob, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I barely hear you.
We were talking with Chris Jones, our stormwater superintendent, and he made the suggestion, he's familiar with your request, I think he's even spoken with you, but he suggested that maybe you would talk to the stormwater board, which may be a more appropriate place than this board, or have a better ability to help you address your issue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've spoke with, I think it's Mike Weaver a couple times, and I can do that. Don't they meet on Wednesdays?
I'm
The
not sure
second Wednesday of the
exactly when
month?
the Stormwater board meets.
Second Wednesday. of the
Yeah,
month.
second Wednesday.
Every Monday,
8 to 4 o'clock.
at 4 o'clock.
Would it be the 10th, second Wednesday?
Okay, is it the 10th?
Today's the first. So.
All right, so it's next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday then,
Okay,
yeah, August 10th.
okay.
And is
Well, I
that
appreciate your time.
also be virtual, or is it it's virtual as well? Okay. All right. If you have any questions, we're going to defer you to Mr. Jones, okay?
Okay, then, I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to address us? Okay. Mr. Hudson, IDEM compliance plan status update.
Also, IDEM, the plan was approved by the council and it's been sent to IDEM.
Good deal. Your status attached.
First up, I have a walk-on. We have a position, we've got this brilliant paralegal that we poached from this law firm that's probably really missing her.
We are?
Yeah. And her current title is paralegal and deferral coordinator. We no longer have a deferral program, so we'd like to change the job title to paralegal and also delete references and duties and responsibilities to the deferral program.
We reviewed any questions?
We approve the request.
I'll second that for the discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Next up is for the Greenwood Sports Complex. This is from a special purchase agreement that you've already approved. But our delay in ordering and being ready for the turf has caused the price to increase substantially. So we need authority to spend an additional $73,348.
Sam, what was the original?
The original
What do
amount
we
was
add?
just over $1 million, I believe.
I'll move that we approve that request.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next up is 516 North Madison Avenue, emergency access easement. There are 3 buildings on this property, and under the current codes, they need a second access for emergency vehicles. Because the property is so small, it's not practical to have a permanent second easement, so the folks on the second floor have worked with them to create an agreement to have a temporary.
I move we approve that request.
Second that, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
My final item is approval of the RS wireless agreement, and this is for the Greenwood Park Mall. And it allows the firefighters and policemen for two-way radios to work much better inside the mall.
I'll move that we approve this purchase agreement.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Sam. Mr. St. John.
Yes, I have a walk-on item myself that I'd like to address before we get to the other items on the agenda. At the last meeting 2 weeks ago, Indiana American Water was here. They requested a closure of Main Street Meridian for 2 days. That occurred last Wednesday, Thursday. They also were approved for another closure on Saturday, August 13th. As after they passed their chlorination test, they would return the old main for the switch over service to the new main. They contacted me this afternoon and asked, well, their contractor has asked them that instead of a full closure on Saturday the 13th, if they could receive permission to close at 9 p.m. on Friday, August 12th and perform the work overnight, which would allow them to be ready for concrete flowable fill to backfill their roadway cuts at 7 a.m. on Saturday. And then there's a window, a 12-hour window where the cold patch has to, well, the flowable fill has to cure in place. So the road would be open again at 7 p.m. on Saturday the 13th. So that's their request, is to amend the original closure request to do most of that work overnight.
I move that we approve that request.
Second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next, I'm gonna go 5, and then I have an additional one, actually 6 of them, are sanitary sewer service agreements. We can go through them one by one. These are all, I believe, outside of the city of Greenwood proper into our expanded sanitary sewer service area. These are just to authorize city staff to prepare single partial sewer service agreements and authorize the mayor to sign on the board's behalf once those have been prepared and reviewed by city staff.
So they're all the same. Let me just kind of maybe read the addresses in.
Yeah.
That way. First one's for 2798 South Morgantown Road. The second one is for 2309 South Morgantown Road. Those are both Center Road Community Schools. 5440 Brooks Bend, Phillips. And 3855 Olive Branch Road, Pointer. 5800 West Smith Valley Road, which is Southland Community Church.
I move that we approve all those
I
requests.
said another
There is one more that's not on the agenda.
Dokmanovich at 3722 Olive Branch
Correct.
Road.
Yep, they came in late today.
Move that we approve all of those requests.
And I will second those. Further discussion on any of them. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we're down to CCMG overlay project.
Yes, the final item I have before you tonight, I think a request that we terminate our contract with Milestone Contractors to form a thin overlay along parts of Ebert Road and Cheek Road. You approved this contract in August of 2021. It's funded through INDOT's Community Crossing Matching Grant Program. We were awarded funding for this about a year ago, last summer in 2021 at this time. Originally, this work was identified in scope in the fall of 2022. A thin overlay, it's exactly what it sounds. It'd be a 3/4 inch asphalt overlay. The idea behind it is it's preventative maintenance. It's a way to keep a good road good. It's not a structural repair. You'd be putting on a new surface and essentially sealing off the roadway. sealing off minor cracks and small cracking that's occurred, making it watertight again, improving rideability. In the 2 winters and the 2 construction seasons since this work was scoped, the roads have deteriorated more than expected. I believe, I wasn't here 2 years ago. I no longer feel it's an appropriate treatment for these roadways, particularly Everett roadway. I don't think it's an appropriate treatment. There are portions of Sheep Road I think it could work along. The complications come with the community crossing expansion grant funds. NDOT awarded us money for both of these roads together, and they don't particularly care how we spend it within that contract. We could spend all the money on Sheep Road or all the money on Everett Road, but we can't change the scope of the project. It has to remain a thin overlay. And once we spend that money, those roads are no longer eligible for community crossing grant funds moving forward. So by terminating this agreement, we do have the opportunity to turn around and apply in the current open call with NDOT to do preventative maintenance on these roads or mill and overlay at a more appropriate treatment should we choose moving forward.
We can't switch to different roads within the community.
No, because the community crossings were tied to these particular roads and these start and end points on these particular roads.
That I'm going to terminate the contract with Milestone and reimburse NDOT for the appropriate one.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thanks for catching that.
Mr. Wright, anything? Nothing.
Sorry. I would move that we approve the claims as submitted.
I'll second that. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you all. We'll stand adjourned at 6:11 p.m.